Buenos tardes everyone. In this video I want to talk about Miguel and how I think this character should be played in Tekken 7 Season 3. Now the first question most people have is probably if Miguel is better or worse now, and the answer to that question is boring because it's neither. He is amazingly fun and good for the same reasons as before, but he also retained all of his classic weaknesses, and his position in the tier list is most likely going to be whatever it was in the past. But he has to be played differently now, and you have to strategize in different ways, so let's explain how. First of all, the big change that people are sad about is Magic 4. It has less range and damage. The range is actually still very good, but you can't get the juicy big combo you got in Season 2. The combo will now be counter hit 4 into Cyclone Slap and then whatever ender you prefer. For damage, Manual Savage up forward 3 into forward 4 2 1 works, but it only gives you 58. So the loss of damage is big and you will want to use this move less now, but I also want to say here that I don't recommend you play a lot of keep out with this character in the first place. Consider for example your matchup against a really good keep out character like Oscar. She has a safe mid homing counter hit launcher that hits from half screen while crushing highs. That's a fucking keep out move, and if you're standing around being cute with your Magic 4 like an asshole, what's going to happen is she's going to go under it, smash into your chorizo and explode it. When she's sticking those really long legs out, you have to get between them and then stay on top of her. Miguel doesn't shoot fireballs out of his vagina, throw swords at people, he doesn't teleport around the stage or transform into a helicopter. He's only really good at standing next to somebody and punching them in the face until they die, and when you're close enough that you can do that with your little T-Rex arms, then you still have back 1 for a great counter hit launcher that is fast and powerful. But yeah, the Magic 4 should probably be known as the Mundane 4 going forward. Next I want to talk about Savage Down Back 3. I call this Miguel's best move recently, so changes to it really matter. While this move had its framed it and nerfed, its other good properties like range, tracking, damage, counter hits, and the fact that it hits on the ground are still all the same, so the move is amazing, but the nerf is specifically to the mix-up you get after the move hits. You get 1 frame less on hit, and you no longer force crouch. The move is +4 now, and what this means is your mix-up knockdown mid, Savage up forward 3, which is 15 frames, can now be interrupted by jabs and fast counter hits by the opponent. So how do you work around that? Well, the first thing you can do is you can start using your Savage highs more, like Savage 1-4 and Savage 1-1. These impact at 12 frames and will counter hit an opponent who is trying to interrupt the Savage up forward 3. The 1-4 is natural on counter hit and gives you a wall bounce, which is very powerful, and the 1-1 spikes them to the ground and gives you guaranteed follow-ups on the floor. The other thing you can do is you can stay out of Savage after the Savage down back 3 hits, and you can use your normal down forward 1 series. Because that's mid and impacts at 13 frames, that is still going to be completely uninterruptible, even though it is obviously a lot less powerful than the knockdown mid Savage up forward 3. I just want to emphasize here that this is not a nerf to the Savage mix-up in general, it's the specific situation of Savage down back 3 on hit. There are still plenty of good setups for the Savage mix-up that are completely uninterruptible, and a couple that I want to recommend that you use in the new season are back 3 on hit and block, while standing 1 on hit, and Savage down forward 1 on hit. These are all +7 or more, and so in all of these situations you get a completely uninterruptible mix-up, and you can also start implementing your new and improved and safe Savage 2 for the mid, which will give you more damage, more range, and more tracking than the Savage up forward 3. Now I want to talk about the fact that you have completely new standard combos for Miguel in the new season, and this is very exciting. It's thanks to the changes to 3-4. The 3-4 had a damage nerf of 2 points, but the improved speed of the animation enables completely new standard combos after specifically hop kick and down forward 2-1. The new combo is going to be launch, down back 2, down forward 1, forward, Savage up forward 3, and then 3-4 for the spin. For the ender, you can go straight into forward 4 2 1, or you can try and run up and squeeze in an extra down forward one before the ender. This is probably a little bit too hard to be viable in live matches, so I recommend that you stick to the simple version. 67 damage is still very high for a 15 frame hop kick, and this combo is easy, consistent, and it even works on small targets like Xiao Yu. I recommend you use this as your standard combo going forward. The down 4-2-1 leads to bigger combos in the new season, and it's much more powerful than the hop kick, and that means that you now are incentivized to use this as your main whiff punishing launcher. Speaking of whiff punishing launchers, the pushback of Savage down 4-2 has been reduced, and the move can now be punished consistently by pretty much everybody. The amount of pushback is now variable, and you can still have your opponent whiff for a free hop kick after it gets blocked, but I think this is way too risky for a strategy now. You should probably only use the move for punishing whiffs that you've visually confirmed already, when you have a hard read on a high that you can go under, or for hitting people on the ground. The move is still very good for that. You have to be smarter and more careful now, and maybe that's a good thing. I don't think anybody can accuse this character of having like any dishonesty about him anymore, and maybe that is worth this specific launcher being slightly weaker. Finally, let's talk about the big enchilada, the buff to your back 4. This move was already one of your best wall splatting tools, but now that it causes a wall bounce, it's so good at the wall that using it there should basically be considered a sex crime. It went up to -14 on block, meaning that a few characters can launch it now, but I think that situation is going to be rare enough that you're more than happy to pay that price, because in return, you get one of the best wall bouncing tools in the game, and the built-in armor will make the opponent shit themselves every single time they're trying to press a button with their back against the wall. My recommended wall bounce combo is 1-2-4. If you're very close to the wall, you can just hold forward and get a free Savage 2 before they hit the ground, but with just a tiny bit of distance or a slight angle, it actually enables you to do a full wall combo after the 4. It's simple, it's flexible, it's reliable, and it's really high damage. And those are pretty much all the significant changes made to the character, with the exception of your new move, the back down 4-4. As far as I can tell, that's really quite slow, and it also doesn't hit grounded, so I don't think the move is very useful, and I don't think it's going to show up in your repertoire. In most cases where you would want to use that move, I would recommend that you go into manual Savage and use a Savage down back 3 instead. The new move does give you a really nice high-powered combo when you connect on counter hit, but I don't think you're going to be doing a lot of counter hitting with the move. So, in conclusion, when we looked at the patch notes for Miguel, I said that I thought he got some nerfs and some buffs, but was probably going to be slightly stronger overall. And I stand by that. I think that's true, at least in my case, but I've been looking at what a lot of other people have to say about the character. I think the most interesting video I saw was from Sephi Black, the famous Miguel tournament player. He also agreed that Miguel got some buffs and some nerfs, but thought he was probably going to be slightly weaker overall. And I think that comes down to his love of Miguel's standing 4, his magic 4. And that's pretty much the way the cookie crumbles when it comes to Season 3 Miguel. Your feelings towards him are going to depend on how you feel about the nerf to Magic 4. It was a very good move, and it was very powerful in Season 2, and it's a lot worse now. I personally did not use the Magic 4 in my repertoire all that much at all, and so I'm going to suffer a lot less because of this nerf than your average Miguel player. I do think it does make sense to say that Miguel is slightly stronger, but I think it's probably only true if you're on a stage that has walls, because your keep out is worse, but your wall game is better. And I think Namco is sending us a very clear message with their design philosophy for this character. We've been asking for range buffs for Miguel since he came out in this game, and we haven't gotten them. The only thing we've really gotten is range nerfs. And so they want this to be a character who's not good at keep out, but is very good at staying close to the opponent, standing on top of them and brawling. And that is a lot easier to do when you have walls, because your opponent is going to struggle to run away from you. You can box them in, and when you have their back up against the wall, you have these really powerful wall combos and wall bounce moves. So if you have the choice of stage in the new season, choose a wall stage and choose a small wall stage, as small as possible, because if you're out in the open and your opponent can run away from you, they probably have better keep out and they probably have better, safer gap closers than you do, and you really want to capitalize on how powerful your moves are despite their short range. So that is going to be my final word on what I think about this character in Season 3. I still love him for the same reasons as before. I think he's as fun as he's ever been and as rewarding. So I definitely recommend you play him in Season 3. I'm going to be playing him. I'm going to be making videos about him, and I hope you show up to watch them. But thank you so much for being here for this one, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye for now.